Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our English listening podcast. My name is Anna. Today, we have a new story for you. This story is a little more advanced than our last one, so listen carefully, and don't worry if you don't understand every word. The story is about a young woman named Sarah, who decides to take a solo trip to Edinburgh, Scotland. Let's begin. Sarah is 26 years old. She works for a marketing company in London. Her job is interesting, but it's also quite stressful. She works long hours, and she often feels tired by the end of the week. Sarah lives with a flatmate, Emma, in a small flat in East London. One Friday evening, Sarah was scrolling through social media when she saw a photo of Edinburgh Castle. The castle looked amazing, sitting on top of a hill above the city. Sarah had never been to Scotland before. "Emma, look at this," Sarah said, showing her phone to her flatmate. "Doesn't this look incredible?" "Wow, that's beautiful." "Where is it?" Emma asked. "It's Edinburgh Castle, in Scotland," Sarah replied. "I've always wanted to visit Scotland, but I've never had the time." "Why don't you go?" Emma said. "Next weekend is a bank holiday. You have 3 days off." Sarah thought about it. She had never traveled alone before. She had always traveled with friends or family. But something about this idea excited her. "Maybe I should," Sarah said slowly. "Maybe it's time I did something on my own." That night, Sarah booked a train ticket to Edinburgh. She also booked a small hotel room near the city centre. When she finished booking everything, she felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. Was she ready to travel alone? The following Friday, after work, Sarah packed her bag. She packed light, a few clothes, a camera, a notebook, and a good pair of walking shoes. Emma helped her check the weather forecast for Scotland. "It says it might rain," Emma said. "Don't forget your umbrella." "Thanks, Mum," Sarah joked, and they both laughed. Early Saturday morning, Sarah took a taxi to King's Cross Station. The station was already busy, even though it was only 7 in the morning. She found her platform and boarded the train to Edinburgh. The journey would take about 4.5 hours. As the train left London, Sarah watched the city disappear behind her. Tall buildings became smaller houses. Smaller houses became green fields. She opened her notebook and began writing about how she was feeling. "I am a little nervous," she wrote, "but I am also excited. I don't know anyone in Edinburgh. I don't know exactly what will happen. But that's the point, isn't it?" While she was writing, an elderly man sat down next to her. He introduced himself as Mr. Fraser, and he was returning home to Edinburgh after visiting his daughter in London. "Is this your first time visiting Scotland?" Mr. Fraser asked, noticing her camera. "Yes, it is," Sarah said. "I'm a little nervous, actually. I'm traveling alone." "Don't worry," Mr. Fraser said, smiling. "Edinburgh is a very friendly city. And if you get lost, just ask someone. Scottish people love to help visitors." They talked for the rest of the journey. Mr. Fraser told Sarah about the history of Edinburgh, about the castle, and about his favorite restaurants in the city. By the time the train arrived, Sarah felt much less nervous. "Thank you for the conversation," Sarah said as they got off the train. "You've made me feel much better about this trip." "Enjoy Edinburgh," Mr. Fraser said. "It's a magical city. I promise you'll love it." Let's pause here and look at some new vocabulary. The first word is solo trip. A solo trip means traveling alone, without other people. The second word is nervous. Nervous means feeling worried or a little afraid about something. The third word is flatmate. A flatmate is a person you share a flat or apartment with. The fourth phrase is bank holiday. A bank holiday is a public holiday in the UK when most people don't work. The fifth word is elderly. Elderly is a polite word for describing an older person. The sixth phrase is get lost. Get lost means to not know where you are, or to lose your way. Let's continue with the story. When Sarah stepped out of the train station, the fresh air hit her immediately. Edinburgh felt very different from London. The buildings were made of dark grey stone, and in the distance, she could already see the castle sitting proudly on its hill. Sarah checked into her hotel, a small, cozy building on a quiet street. Her room was simple but comfortable, with a view of the city rooftops. After putting down her bag, she decided not to waste any time. She wanted to explore. She walked towards the Royal Mile, the famous street that connects Edinburgh Castle to the Palace of Holyrood House. The street was full of life. There were street performers playing bagpipes, shops selling tartan scarves and whiskey, and small cafes with delicious smells coming from their doors. Sarah stopped to watch a man playing the bagpipes. The sound was loud but beautiful, echoing between the old stone buildings. A small crowd had gathered around him, and some people were dancing. "This is incredible," Sarah thought. She took several photos and even recorded a short video to send to Emma. She continued walking up the Royal Mile until she reached Edinburgh Castle. The castle was even more impressive in person than in the photo she had seen online. She bought a ticket and spent almost 2 hours exploring the castle, learning about its history. She learned that people had lived on this hill for over 3,000 years, and that the castle had seen many wars and battles. From the castle walls, Sarah could see the whole city below her. She could see the old town, with its narrow streets, and the new town, with its elegant Georgian buildings. In the distance, she could see the sea. "If I hadn't come here, I would never have seen this view," Sarah thought. "I'm so glad I decided to travel alone." By early afternoon, Sarah was hungry. She found a small cafe recommended by Mr. Fraser, hidden down a narrow street called a close. She ordered a bowl of traditional Scotch broth soup and a slice of homemade bread. While she was eating, a woman at the next table started talking to her. Her name was Fiona, and she was a local tour guide. "Are you visiting Edinburgh for the first time?" Fiona asked, noticing Sarah's camera and guidebook. "Yes, I arrived this morning," Sarah said. "I'm traveling alone, actually." "That's brave," Fiona said, smiling. "I love meeting solo travelers. You always have the most interesting stories. What have you seen so far?" Sarah told Fiona about the castle and the Royal Mile. Fiona recommended some other places to visit, including a ghost tour that happens every evening in the old town. "You should definitely do the ghost tour tonight," Fiona said. "Edinburgh is famous for its ghost stories. The old town has many dark underground streets, and some very strange history." "That sounds a little scary," Sarah laughed. "It's meant to be scary, but it's also a lot of fun," Fiona said. "And it's a great way to meet other travelers." Let's stop again and look at some new words. The first word is cozy. Cozy means warm and comfortable. The second word is bagpipes. Bagpipes are a traditional Scottish musical instrument. The third word is impressive. Impressive means something that makes you feel admiration because it is very good or large. The fourth phrase is narrow street. A narrow street is a street that is not wide. The fifth word is brave. Brave means having courage, not being afraid to do something difficult. The sixth word is recommend. Recommend means to suggest that something is good or suitable. Now, let's continue with the story. That evening, Sarah decided to take Fiona's advice. She booked a place on the Edinburgh Ghost Tour, which started at 8 o'clock, just as the sun was setting. A group of about 15 tourists gathered near the Royal Mile. The tour guide, a tall man wearing a black cloak, introduced himself as Angus. He had a deep, dramatic voice, perfect for telling scary stories. "Welcome, if you dare," Angus said, "to the most haunted city in Europe." The group laughed nervously. Sarah stood next to a young couple from Germany and an older woman traveling alone, just like her. Angus led the group down into the underground streets beneath the city. Long ago, these streets were on the surface, but the city had built new streets above them. Now, they were dark, hidden tunnels beneath modern Edinburgh. In the 17th century, Angus explained, his voice echoing in the tunnel, many people lived down here, in terrible conditions. There was disease, poverty, and, some say, dark magic. He told stories about ghosts that people had reportedly seen in these tunnels. Some tourists screamed when he suddenly pointed his torch into a dark corner. Sarah felt her heart beating fast, but she was also laughing. It was frightening, but exciting at the same time. After the tour, the group went to a nearby pub together. Angus had recommended it as a place where the ghost tour guides often go for a drink after work. Sarah sat with the young German couple, whose names were Lucas and Mia, and the older woman, whose name was Patricia. "Where are you from?" Lucas asked Sarah. "I'm originally from Vietnam, but I live in London now," Sarah answered. "What about you?" "We're from Berlin," Mia said. "We're traveling around the UK for 2 weeks." Patricia, the older woman, explained that she was originally from Australia but had moved to Scotland many years ago, after falling in love with the country during a holiday, just like Sarah was experiencing now. "Sometimes," Patricia said, "a place changes your life completely, and you don't expect it." They talked for hours about traveling, about their jobs, and about their dreams for the future. Sarah felt something she hadn't felt in a long time, real connection with new people. In London, she rarely talked to strangers. But here, in Edinburgh, everything felt different, more open, more friendly. Let's pause for some new vocabulary. The first word is haunted. Haunted means a place where people believe ghosts live. The second phrase is dare. If you dare to do something, you have enough courage to do it, even if it's frightening. The third word is underground. Underground means below the surface of the ground. The fourth word is poverty. Poverty means the state of being very poor. The fifth word is frightening. Frightening means causing fear. The sixth word is connection. Connection, in this context, means a feeling of understanding and closeness with another person. Let's continue our story. The next morning, Sarah woke up later than planned. She had stayed at the pub until midnight, talking with her new friends. Despite being tired, she felt happier than she had felt in months. She had breakfast at a small cafe near her hotel, eating traditional Scottish porridge with honey. While eating, she checked her phone and saw a message from Emma. "How's Scotland? Are you having a good time?" Emma had written. Sarah smiled and replied, "It's amazing. I've met so many interesting people. I'll tell you everything when I'm back." For her last day in Edinburgh, Sarah decided to do something different. Fiona had recommended climbing Arthur's Seat, an old volcano just outside the city centre, which offers the best view in Edinburgh. The walk up Arthur's Seat took about an hour. It wasn't an easy climb, the path was steep, and sometimes rocky. But Sarah didn't mind. The exercise felt good after 2 days of walking around the city. Halfway up, she stopped to rest and looked back at the view. She could see the whole city spread out below her, the castle, the Royal Mile, the sea in the distance, and even the mountains beyond the city. When she finally reached the top, the wind was strong, but the view took her breath away. 360 degrees of Scotland surrounded her, green hills, blue sea, and the grey stone city she had come to love in just 2 days. Sarah sat down on a rock and took out her notebook again. "I came here nervous and unsure," she wrote. "I leave feeling stronger, braver, and happier. I met wonderful people. I saw beautiful places. And most importantly, I learned that I can do things alone, and that being alone doesn't mean being lonely." An older local man, walking his dog, stopped near her. "First time up here?" he asked, noticing her expression. "Yes," Sarah said. "It's incredible. Everyone should climb this hill at least once," the man said. "It puts everything into perspective, doesn't it?" Sarah nodded, smiling. "It really does." That afternoon, Sarah packed her bag and walked to Waverley Station to catch her train back to London. Before leaving, she stopped at a small shop and bought a scarf made from Scottish tartan, a gift for Emma, and a bottle of whiskey for her father. On the train home, Sarah felt different from the woman who had arrived in Edinburgh 2 days earlier. She had spoken to strangers, tried new food, walked up a mountain, and even survived a ghost tour. She had done all of this alone, and she felt proud of herself. As the train approached London, the green fields slowly turned back into busy streets and tall buildings. Sarah opened her notebook one last time and wrote a final note. Next time, she wrote, I won't wait for someone else to travel with me. If I want to see the world, I can do it myself. When Sarah arrived home, Emma was waiting excitedly at their flat. Tell me everything, Emma said. Sarah smiled and began telling her story: the friendly stranger on the train, the bagpipes on the Royal Mile, the incredible view from the castle, the ghost tour under the city, and the moment on top of Arthur's seat when everything made sense. I think, Sarah said at the end, this is the beginning of many more solo trips. And that's the end of today's story. Let's review our final vocabulary words. The first word is porridge. Porridge is a warm breakfast food made from oats and milk or water. The second word is steep. Steep means a path or hill that rises sharply, making it difficult to climb. The third phrase is take your breath away. This phrase means something is so beautiful or amazing that it makes you feel astonished. The fourth phrase is put things into perspective. This means to understand something more clearly by comparing it to something bigger. The fifth word is stranger. A stranger is a person you don't know. The sixth word is proud. Proud means feeling satisfied and happy about something you or someone else has achieved. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope Sarah's story about her solo trip to Edinburgh inspired you a little. Maybe it will encourage you to travel somewhere new, even alone. Don't forget to review the new vocabulary, and listen again if you need more practice. See you next time. Goodbye, everyone.